a little bit on this because I think it's pretty interesting. What's going on with SEO? Yeah, good question, because I would say for the last couple of years, it's been a hyper volatile, right? But especially over the course of the last 6 months, I'd say it's doing the same as like American markets are doing right now. It's like bottoming out nonstop. And we keep waiting for some sort of like relief that's going to be reminiscent of what we had before, where what we were prodding at with a lot of our variables was giving an actual indication of what was 100% working and what wasn't. And now it seems like there's always this layer of uncertainty because, like I was just talking about, sometimes now you go into these SERPs where it doesn't make sense how a low authority site managed to get into a very high authority competitive market SERP. But we're seeing that kind of stuff. So there's this variance in there that I think, to me, I've always looked at it this way. When there's a lot of volatility in the SERPs, and we can always, look, let's see where the volatility is right now. Because I know Artemis just put something up in the group. There we go. Just to have an image. This is SEMrush's volatility sensor, which gives you an indication of what kind of volatility is going on in Google. And as you can see, every week or so, we're getting these spikes over the last 30 days, right? And as you're seeing this, if you're especially a newer SEO and you're going in and you're looking at your SERPs every day or your rank tracker every day, you're probably losing your mind a little bit. It makes it really hard. It was already hard when I got my start 10 years ago, but now I would not want to just have entered this market. It's scary, right? And so you need validation from somewhere. Well, what I get validation from is the fact that at SirLinksalot, and as well as my other companies, we're handling over 1,000 different, clients per month. So in analyzing that data, I get a better picture of what's going on. And that's why every time you'll see me in here, I'm practicing or preaching, rather, both preaching and practicing the same thing. I'm looking for longevity in the SERPs. How does this function? Even if they're trying to throw loops at me in the algorithm, what is the bread and butter of ranking? Well, it's high quality content, designed specifically for the algorithm, alongside a quality press emulating campaign, which is backlinks. Okay. Or, getting backlinks, white hat, gray hat, however. So if I'm practicing the safest standards to do that, which is going to be, I'm building out good content, I'm constantly changing and updating my website, I actually care and nourish this thing, and I'm adding quality backlinks, then over time, when Google finally tires people out, because that's what they do a whole lot, like this kind of stuff comes up and it exhausts these tired or insecure kind of companies. That compounded with everything else going on in the world today, like there's a lot of stress going on. So this is going to eliminate a lot of people. The way you insulate yourself here is by making sure you're doing something with long-term in mind. Now, if you're looking for churn and burn kind of information, like I don't have it, but from my perspective and based on what SEO is currently doing, that is your best bet at longevity here in SEO. Now, I will say too, based on this stuff, if you're not keeping up with the times and you're not utilizing every advantage that's out there to you, I think you're going to get left behind as well. SEO is getting more and more complex, and it's going to continue to get more complex. And, recently we were talking about, well, if we're in the SEO game right now, then we definitely need to think about AEO, right? AI, search optimization, which is why, I started going down the rabbit hole. It's why I started learning about what ChatGPT says. If you look, SirLinksalot has been mentioned. I remember the first time I saw it mentioned in ChatGPT. And now, based on everything we've done, creating a full view picture, right? The brand is completely there, as well as our white hat off-page strategy. We do digital PR nonstop, right? Yeah, that's what we do. So, you want to be doing all things. As search gets smarter, it's going to be able to tell who is really putting forth more effort. And I think the days for low quality, especially affiliate kind of content spam websites, I was going to say the days are numbered, but I think the days are kind of already over for that based on what I've seen. I know I'm not partaking in it anymore. Whereas, if you would have talked to me 5 years ago, that was a big plan. So, stay on top of shifts, especially if you're worried about it. You're going to hear a lot of people talk about SEO being dead, blah, blah, blah. Backlinks are dead. No, nah. These are all just algorithms, at least for the time being. If you are putting all of these pieces of the puzzle together, you are crafting a narrative, and that's going to be for any kind of crawler. So conceptualize that and know that, you've got to move in with these times if you're going to do well in search engine optimization. But, I guess I've got to touch on that because that seems to be a really popular thing to talk about anytime there's some sort of new advancement in technology coming up. I will say that quantum computing seems pretty sketchy as far as what we're going to be dealing with in the future, but I think that's a whole different can of worms right now. Focusing on AI, adapting with the times, making sure that you're building full packages instead of just real concise. Before it was easier to manipulate those kinds of search engine queries. Now it's not going to be so easy. But if you're doing something like SirLinksalot, where you're really you're putting yourself out there with your brand, you're actually building a brand, and then you're getting press behind it, I think that's probably the way to continue on in the future and not really worry about what's going on. And then, I've talked a lot about insulating your brand as well. As you do SEO, and I am an SEO, don't neglect things like ads, right? Or any number of other sales practices you can take to not only earn income, but diversify and insulate your business, right? And I'm going to say this too. I think now more than ever, there's a pretty high correlation between ad spend and competitive markets and boosting up in SEO, in search. Just based on things that I'm seeing, especially now that I've got an ads agency too coming up. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. But don't neglect any part of building the brand out, and I think you're going to do just fine in SEO in the future as well as it gets more complex. So hope that helps a little bit. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, make sure to give us a like, drop a comment, subscribe, so you don't miss out on any future SEO insights. And hey, if you're serious about your rankings, head over to SirLinksalot.co, check out our premium link building services, guides, and free SEO tools. See you next time.